Hi guys, so good evening. Obviously Tommy and Zach aren't with me this evening. They're actually at Norwich because they're not armchair fans, and I'm kind of in work tomorrow morning, so I weren't doing the 3 a.m. home thing. So yeah, we're only doing this basically on the back of how shit the last few days have been. Obviously the EFL have come in with an investigation, which I called about 3 weeks ago. I said it's been awfully quiet, and I thought something sus was going on. Didn't quite think it'd be this deep though. By the looks of it, either something's gone on with the Maxco takeover, something's gone on with the EFL. BSHL have basically not been running the club properly, and we have a lot of different theories and different kind of things that are going on in our heads right now. We're all angry, we're all furious. There's talks of point deduction, there's talks of relegation on the cards if we stay up. What happens next season? Because even if we do stay up, let's be honest, the spine of our team is built on loans. It doesn't look promising as a blue nose right now. Brought one of the two other co-hosts from my other podcast, Battling Brummies. This is John. He's a lifelong Portsmouth fan and has basically been through the mill with all this bollocks before. So it's good to have someone who has felt this pain, probably had it worse than us as well. In fact, have had it worse than us. And to be honest, we're going to be talking some deep discussion around ownership, what they did to have to get rid of it, and just getting a perspective on how we feel this is going to go. So stick with us on this one, guys, because it's not an easy thing to talk about. So I suppose, John, for you, do you want to just give a quick background highlight on what happened with Portsmouth, how the change happened, and in your honest opinion, what do you think is going to happen to us, and what do you think the best move would be for us?
Okay, so yeah, I'm a Portsmouth fan. Been a Portsmouth fan my whole life, from the glory days for us in the Premier League, all the way down to being in League Two. It all started like 2006, 2007, 2008. Started spending a lot of money on some big players we couldn't afford. 2008, we had the highlight of winning the FA Cup. Amazing time for being a Portsmouth fan. It just really went downhill from there.
Can I just start you for one sec? Who was your manager at that time? Just seeing some similarities, but carry on.
And so yeah, but after that FA Cup win, that height really of modern day Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Lots of financial difficulties, point deductions. What we thought, we didn't really know what was going on. We had owners coming in who, one of them was an owner for a week and then left. And all of these are people who are passing the fit and proper person test, apparently. And we had successive relegations all the way down to League Two. Spent a few seasons down in League Two, and now we've been stuck in League One ever since. But it's weird because I'm actually a lot happier now, even though we're in League One, than I was when we're in the Premier League going through all this financial trouble of these point deductions and stuff like that, because there's more stability in the club now. And I think that's where Blues at the moment are. It's horrible to be a fan in this situation.
It's not nice. Let's be honest, John, you know yourself, I was around your house. I was around here last night, and I literally said to you, I said, we need to do an emergency podcast on this. As the Blues focus, I need to respond to this. Someone needs to do something. A fan needs to just get out there on video and say what's going on in terms of how they feel about it. I don't know what's going on perfectly with Birmingham City, not a chance, but I was far too angry last night. And anyone who follows me on Twitter will see that I was a ball of anger yesterday. And I just started atting the EFL, and I just started atting everything. So I had to wait 24 hours because otherwise I would have been cancelled doing this today. I am very adamant that the stuff I would have started throwing would not have ended prettily. So I suppose the question is, as someone looking from the outside in, as someone who had umpteen amount of owners then, where do you see us in your honest opinion in terms of what do you think us getting relegated, going down to League One and fobbing off the owners, which is, and it's sad to say because I've always been team stay in the championship. Come on, do what we can. We need to get rid of the owners though. I'm sort of siding towards maybe we do need to now go down and fob the owners off, which is heartbreaking because no one wants to admit defeat. But did it work for you?
For us, when we were down in League Two, we're literally minutes away from not being a club anymore. So, it's one of the things where, like, pros and cons, what outweighs what. But thankfully, we managed to buy our club. The fans did. And now we have sold it again, but to an owner who's not putting any debt in the club, which is nice, using his own money to invest rather than
what's that like?
Put debt against it. So, even though we're in League One, and we're a bit stranded in League One at the moment, I'm still a lot happier. For Blues, though, I mean, I live in Birmingham, so I know a lot of stuff that's been happening with Blues, especially since you're one of my best mates and like knowing all the stuff that's been going on from you. I mean, am I right in saying you're the team who's been in the Championship the longest out of any team?
Yeah, because Forest got promoted last year, so we are officially the team that has been in the Champo the longest.
Well, it's one of those things like there's money in the Championship, isn't there? Like much more money than League One. So, but right now, what you want is you don't really care about the money right now. You want the owners out.
My issue is that if so just going off obviously Richard Wilford yesterday, who obviously his sources are pretty dot on, and they always are. He put yesterday, the EFL have charged BCFC with alleged breach of regulation charges related to the takeover bid earlier this season and allege that a number of people were allowed to act as irrelevant persons without prior approval of the EFL. An individual commission will consider evidence. Now, to me, obviously, we all know who that comes back to. That comes back to, obviously, Paul Richardson and Lopez. And in all fairness, the reason I say Paul Richardson and Lopez is because, in my opinion, he said on TalkSport, I'm 99% adamant, I'm going to look like an idiot if this is wrong, but I think what he said was, I have been assured that this deal I have done gives me 20-odd% of the club and I get dictatorship of the club. I'm assuming he was told by, and we're going to say King, because I think he is the one who owns us. Do we know? That they basically said, yeah, you can do that. That's legal. You can do that. That's fine. What's clearly happened here, and I'm only spouting feathers because obviously, again, I don't know everything that's gone on, is Richardson's done his due diligence in the club. He has found something very dark and dodgy and something's happened. And either he's gone, I can't do this. But looking at the Birmingham Official Club statement when the Richardson deal ended, it said the owners have exercised their right to back out of the deal. So to me, it looks like BSHL had backed out or something had happened or they'd asked for more money. And Richardson Lopez knew that. And if I'm honest, this club looks like a poison chalice at the minute. And anyone who touched it was going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. I think a Saudi would try and come in and buy us at the minute. And I think something mad would happen because it is that dodgy. And we've been screaming for this for 6 years off the EFL, but it's only now become apparent, which is what filled me with so much anger yesterday. It's that they've been doing a 10-year secret investigation on Man City. They've had the audacity to go very quiet in every communication, but then say, we've had a 2-year pending investigation on Birmingham City as of today. And I'm like, well, okay, but we weren't aware of this. I know it's a secret investigation, but when we've all been doing all these protests weeks ago for the last 2 years, been saying, help us EFL, help us EFL. At no point has anyone in the EFL declared to us that, yeah, we're going to help you. We're going to actually investigate this. They've just kind of not responded. Or if it's been response, it's been a normal this response. So I don't know. At the minute, everything just seems a bit screwed and I'm angry and I'm furious and I don't know where to look and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to consider. All I think that now in the summer is it's basically like what happened in the Prem and we're going to end up going down. Or if we do stay up, George Hall's gone. Joe Bellingham's probably gone. Jordan James is probably gone. The 5 loan players are probably gone. Troy's out of contract. Scott's getting on. Duke might stay. We've got Ruddy for another year, but I can't see him staying. Maxine's in his last 6 months of his contract. It just looks like we're in a hopeless pit at the minute. So I suppose from the outside looking in, John, what do you think? With everything you read yesterday, because you're switched on with football stuff as well.
It seems like there's a possibility of point deduction, but suspended. Am I right in saying that?
What does that mean? They're going to deduct it in the future and not at the present?
If I believe if they're going to deduct it, they'll deduct it in the future. It's like if it's suspended for 2 years, like a prison sentence. If you commit another crime or something else comes.
Oh, so technically we might not get a deduction if we're well behaved.
Yeah,
fantastic. I can deal with that.
That might also be a good thing. Like if with eyes on Birmingham City, if there is stuff going on in the background, maybe they won't want them eyes on them. Hopefully, maybe a takeover bid can happen. I mean, I know what it's like to have dodgy owners. I mean, not even dodgy owners, bad owners.
It's like, yeah. Oh, I'm just going to call it as it is. Shit owners. Absolute shite. But my issue is that, and it's like you said earlier with the good and proper fitness test. And then, right, before I say this, I'm aware that the Premier League and the EFL are 2 very different corporations in company, but they also should be working off the same kind of thing. The Premier League approved Carson Young, a fucking crook, who owned a hairdressing salon, who got put on house arrest and was laundering money. We now have been given BSHL, who are clearly just as dodgy, if not worse. So, like I said in my tweet yesterday, yes, EFL, we probably have broke rules. We've been asking you for years to do this, but also take some fucking ownership, EFL, because you know what? You approved these again, and you've approved it, and we've been begging for help, and now it seems like you're just trying to shaft us into the ground even more, because Man City have broke 135 plus regulations, and you're yet to sanction any bollocks on them. I haven't seen one consequence of this yet. All I've seen is a statement saying, yes, they can't appeal it. Okay, great. They can't appeal what though? There is no end result at the minute to an appeal. You're gonna do them points like you did to us when we were pushing up to playoffs that one season, about to play Villa, and you just went, oh yeah, remember when you signed Pedersen? Yeah, 9 points. You're not gonna do that to them though, are you? You're not. There's. It literally feels like all the little clubs just get sanctioned. If this was the opposite way around, and Birmingham had breached 130 times on, we'd be a Bury United right now and be fucking redundant and wouldn't be a club anymore. How close were you to going? Minutes.
I mean, it was in court at the time, and like
weren't there player wage and everything?
There's loads of stuff. It was just basically working out the debt, which was. I mean, it's a long. I don't have time to get into that. Everything that happened.
Could be here all day.
The owners loaned the club loads of money, then took that money straight back out, but then left for loans on. Stuff like that. I mean, we had 2 point deductions successive seasons in the Premier League and in the Championship. And point deductions are never nice. So take away points that you've earned that season, and especially when you're fighting around relegation. I mean, to be honest, Birmingham are doing quite well at the moment in the fact that they're quite a few points clear of relegation. Obviously, after a few games, that could change. But
well, yeah, because we're what we like to call the bookies' nightmare, where the games we're not meant to win, we do all right, and then the games where they go, yeah, Birmingham's winning that. Nah. Cardiff, nah.
But like, even 6 points could be detrimental to your season at the moment.
I mean,
you could get relegated, but like you said, maybe that would be a good thing. I know I saw
they could take 12 to 21 points at this rate, though.
You think?
But they could. They've done it mid-season to us before, not that severe, but they've took points off us before. Why couldn't they do it again? Yeah. And you know what they're like? They will just rip it there and then. They don't care. Which is what disgusts me the most. It almost feels like for years and this is a separate thing altogether, but it just feels like officiating at games in the whole standard EFL is shite anyway. But the officials have been awful. Like I've been saying, and I know I'm a moany Birmingham fan, and I'm just spitballing here with all you guys online and hoping for the best there. But I just don't know where I stand anymore. I feel like if we go down, do the owners go, or do they just sit there and suck all the blood money out of us? Because at the minute, let's be honest, we are hemorrhaging money. Hemorrhaging it.
That's a sad thing, though, is that...
Probably, I've read some statement off quite reliable sources saying $1 million a month. We're in net loss of $1 million a month at the minute. Loss.
But at the moment with Birmingham, I mean, I went to a game the other week with you. It was the replay against...
Blackburn. Worst game of football we've ever seen.
Honestly, I mean, I've been to quite a few Birmingham City games, but one of the worst footballing games I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was piss ball.
But it was a midweek match, a few days' notice. It looked like Birmingham City sold out every single seat they could, or that they were given for that match.
Yeah.
As long as these fans are still coming, as long as they're still paying the money to get in, the club is still taking some of that money out.
So this is another big topic, actually, which I got very, very passionate about the other week, which is a lot of fans are saying boycott games, but then the other half of us, where I stand is, well, no, because I support this team. I don't support BSHL, but I support the 11 boys who put a Birmingham City shirt on and walk out on that football pitch for me, which is really, really difficult at the minute.
I'm the same as you, I would, because you want to support the boys, don't you? You want to support the team. It's just, it's hard when you know that all the money you're putting into it is going into, well, you don't know where
a dying club. Because at the minute we're dying. We're basically on life support. That's what it feels like as a Birmingham fan looking in at the minute. It feels like we are watching the ground swallow us up right now. And it is horrible. Does going down mean that the owners would leave? I don't know. But does it give us a better chance? Potentially. Guys, I suppose what I'm saying is in the comments when you see this, if you don't see this, if you think I'm just talking bullshit, call me out on it as well. But what do you think it takes here to save us or get us through this? Or do you think we stay up with a point deduction? Do you think we've got it in the squad to stay up with a point deduction? What do you think the team looks like in League One? Like I said, I've spitballed loads of players. Alfie Chang, another one. Ryan Sturck, another one. Like these kids, we're pretty good at growing academy players. We're not very good at keeping them, and especially if we go down.
One scare. I mean, just from my Portsmouth experiences, when we got rid of it from the Championship, I thought League One would be easy.
Nope.
We came bottom. I mean, we were in financial difficulty as well. We were getting only free transfers and stuff, but we went straight down. But it's a tougher league than people think. I mean, obviously the step up is massive to the Championship. I mean, you see that mostly with teams who get promoted come straight back down. I mean, Sunderland are doing a wonderful job this season, unfortunately, in 5th place or wherever they are right now.
Yeah.
But usually, you look at the teams who go up, Peterborough straight back down, stuff like that.
We love you though, Mike Dodds. Not Sunderland, but Mike Dodds, you're all right. Come back on at some point.
Sorry, I'm a Portsmouth fan.
No, it's fine.
Nothing to do.
That's a different beef. That's a beef we stay away from at the minute. We got enough beef going on with the EFL, man. They hate us. But I suppose it's just a horrible place at the minute. And if I did this pod yesterday, it would have been a fiery, passionate rant. But I've had 24 hours to think about it. How does John Eustace deal with this? I'm gonna upload it. I've got a long statement from my friend who's a lifelong Birmingham fan and a very knowledgeable man, actually, in Max. And with that, he sent me a really, because I said to him earlier, I just said, Max, what's your opinion on this whole thing? And he sent me a really good thing. So I'm going to upload it as a Word document. But the long and short of it is, this is crooked. It looks horrible. And the one thing that he was down with as well was our squad is built up of free transfers, loans, and it has been for years. The one time we looked like we were actually pushing in the last 8 years was Gary Rowett, and we fucking sacked him when we were 7th and won the night before, which I still can't work out in my head. Some people have said maybe BSHL did it so we didn't get promoted. I can't see that happening, but saying, oh, maybe they could have got away with more darkness when they were down here. I can kind of see the point. We're going to find out more as the weeks go on. There's going to be some mass investigation going on here. Like I said the other week on the pod, I feel like something dark was going on, and I just knew it was going to implode at some point. If you're John Eustace and you Troy Deeney, who the club captain and the manager, having to walk out into this tonight and walk into train every day, what would your team talk be? I'd just put the EFL statement on away at Norwich tonight, and I'd put that on the wall and go, every single person right now in the Football League, every team we play against thinks we're absolute dickheads, lads. Go out and show them why. Lads, if we go down, Blues, but I'm just begging you to give 110% for the next 12 to 14 games. Just put everything out there. If we go down, we go down. But you know what? Go down fighting, because we can't be a dying club, and it's going to happen. This is what it look to me, as just a humble Birmingham fan, it looks like it's just going downhill. What was your saving grace then? Was it just going down to League Two and getting the fan ownership?
I mean, obviously, I prefer not to go down to League Two, but I think that was the thing which helped us.
But you now don't have the EFL breathing in you anymore.
We don't. We got the Eisners, who a lot of people are unhappy with, because they're not overly invested in the team, but they're also not putting the team into mass amounts of debt at the moment. They're just building slowly, rebuilding the stadium, rebuilding training, rebuilding youth, slowly in the background. Might be a bit frustrating. We're not pushing for promotion like a lot of people think. Portsmouth should be around the Championship level. I think they should be. But it's a lot nicer place to be a fan, because we're not worried about liquidation. We're not worried about point deductions anymore. So,
and I mean, this right here, John, this is the latest thing that came out today. Blues are facing another charge by the EFL as they examine whether BSHL have breached regulations by misleading them over current setup. So obviously we were reading a lot of rumours anyway when Richardson was trying to pull the takeover off, saying, oh, apparently we've got someone else who owns shares of us in Cambodia, and we have someone over here, and we have someone over here. Does that not scream suspect from anywhere?
I mean, no.
Does that not just scream that this club is literally been mugged off again and again and again? Because it does to me. Like I said, guys, I can just... This is all I'm going to say on it, really, at present. I just thought some Birmingham fan had to come on and try and spitball something about it. Guys, leave a comment on this and just say where you stand with it, because honestly, I just can't physically think at the minute. My brain is fried with trying to work out what's going on with Birmingham City. Are we going to be a club? Because this could very easily become a Bury United situation if this isn't dealt with very quickly. And I know that's me being very, this could end, but it could. It could. It doesn't look pretty. This is going to get worse before it gets much better, I think, in my humble opinion. But just keep eyes out on the updates, because the lads who know, we all know who to look up on Twitter. They know what they're on about. So keep an eye on them ones. I'm just spitballing as a Birmingham fan, hoping for the best and bringing on a Portsmouth fan who's been there, done that, and is now coming through the other side of it and seeing the benefits. But lads, just protest more, hope for the best, but keep it peaceful for the love of God. We don't need, lads, no pitch invasions for the love of God. Like, we don't need more point deductions and we don't need more fines right now. But that's all I'm going to put on it. Keep right on.